What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday or your weekend, whenever you're watching this, whenever you've seen Thor Love and Thunder. It is the spoiler-heavy review of the movie. So if you haven't seen it, obviously, go see it and then come back. Or spoil yourself. Who cares? Subscribe to the channel. Let's get us to 50,000. I think we can do it this weekend, but I need you guys to help us. Almost at 50,000. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So, Thor, Love, and Thunder. A lot of different opinions going on in this movie. To be honest, I thought I was going to be in the minority of this film. Because I didn't love it as much as I thought everybody else would. I'm seeing a lot of people feeling similar to how I was feeling with it is a very, very joke-heavy film. People tried to counter that and say, well, so was Thor Ragnarok. I thought the balance in Thor Ragnarok played better. I thought there were more emotional moments in Thor Ragnarok. Now, there are definitely emotional moments and things that happen in this, and I think even in the start of the film, when you see Gorr and you see how he is he's hungry, he's with his daughter, he's starving, his daughter dies. It's a very sad moment. And then he is someone who is very in tune with the gods and believes that he's going to be rewarded for his loyalty and what he did. And I thought that was all playing out really well. And I thought right away, here's the tone that I'm going to be worried about, because whoever the god is that he is worshiping, I get the idea of it. The idea is that to show the hubris of the gods and that they can't be defeated, and they have so much arrogance behind them. And I think that part of it worked, and the understanding of why Gorr then changes and picks up the knife to get him, or whatever the hell that is, the sword to get him to that kind of evil place and corrupted. But even the god himself started to play into this kind of goofy movie that seemed like it didn't. I don't know. I started to get it made me go, oh, this is what I'm going to start to expect, and I don't think I'm going to like it. A lot of this stuff that's happening, because I felt that character could have been a little bit more serious, but it felt like he was just he felt like he was in like What We Do in the Shadows. And this happened throughout a lot of the movie. There are the serious moments that play well, that I thought that the Jane storyline, with the fact that the stuff that came out from the comics was that she is diagnosed with cancer, and in order to try to fight the cancer, she picks up the hammer, she becomes Lady Thor, but it's ultimately starting to kill her more. And I thought all that stuff worked in the movie too. I thought that there was a reason why she was doing it. And I thought Natalie Portman played it really well. I thought the chemistry between the two of them worked, and I didn't mind a little of the silliness of like the high school relationship stuff. Like, hi, how you been? I've been all right. I think it played on a little bit too much. They worked it a little bit overboard sometimes, but I think for the most part their chemistry was fantastic, and I loved everything that they did. And that was the most emotional that we got to see Chris Hemsworth in this movie, was when after 45 minutes or 50 minutes, whatever, when he finally finds out that Jane has cancer, that then we start to see that layer of Thor that we've seen in previous movies mixed with the humor that was only in glimpses in this movie. Because one of the things I hated in this, and now I can actually talk about it, I was so excited to have Lady Sif back because of the relationship that they had set up. We didn't know if it was going to be a love triangle at one point in the beginning of it, but Thor was always so in tune with his soldiers, and there was always that loyalty that he had to them, and there was always that loyalty that they had to him. And there was they could crack jokes when they're in the middle of something, but it was always like a serious tone between them. But they honored what he was trying to do, the battle, like all of that. She's out there, looks like she's going to die, or looks like she might die. And he's like, oh, maybe, you're going to die, and you'll go. And she says, well, I'll go off to wherever the hell it is, Valhalla or whatever it is. I can't remember the name of it. And he's like, no, you're not, because you didn't die in battle. Haha. And she's like, oh, well, maybe your hand or whatever it was. And it's like this is the time we're cracking these jokes, when your friend, who, like, you don't look like you are, like, if it was the joke was cut in a kind of sad moment and trying to make her laugh because he's trying to get her, he looks like she's on the way out, and he's just trying to talk her through it, but he's emotionally hurt that his friend is dying, then I would be like, okay, the joke worked there. But like, it was just meant to get laughs in the theater, and it took away any past history that they had. And I was like, oh, that's what they're doing in this movie. And you're either going to love this and you're going to laugh, or you're going to not be as attached, and you just have to look at it as a pure comedy, because nothing was more. I again was excited for the idea of what Russell Crowe was going to bring to Zeus. That whole, all the segments from whatever it is, the donut god or whatever that thing was. I don't know what it was, but it was again just there to be there for the laugh. And then Russell Crowe is doing this thing with his skirt, with his kilt or skirt, whatever the hell he's doing, and he's jumping down the stairs, and he's not serious at all. And then he gets a thing thrown through him, and Thor's naked, and people are cracking jokes, and it felt like something out of like a spoof movie. And that was the stuff that I was like, okay, on a rewatch, understanding that this is what this movie is, maybe I'll actually start to appreciate it, because I thought that the jokes, the comedy itself was funny. Taika Waititi's a funny dude, and he gets comedy. He knows how to do it. It's just, there was, as I mentioned many times over, it was the balance. The stuff, again, that worked was what I thought that did work with the balance was that Gore was not cracking jokes. Yeah, maybe he did like a few things that fit inside of the character, and the stuff with the kids, I'm torn on, right? Because I thought that it was pretty terrifying when he takes the kids, and then that one kid, even because Thor is an absolute goofy idiot throughout this whole, he's Spicoli, and you know he can't do anytime he's doing anything, he's doing it. He even the kid at one point is like, "Get out of here! You're not helping us." And it's like, this is Thor, who's done all this stuff, and he's been through all these things. And the beginning of it, even the beginning, where he's got this battle that he's fighting with the Guardians, and I did like the idea, though, more so what I'm glad they didn't continue on doing was that butting of the heads between him and Star-Lord. They seem to have squashed their beef, and Star-Lord actually likes fighting with him now, and I liked that. I thought that worked good. I didn't want to see the same rehash, so that part of it I liked well, and for the most part, it was really just Star-Lord that was focused on. The Guardians were there to, go off and do their own thing and prep us for Guardians 3. And then there's that moment and the use of Guns N' Roses I liked a lot. I really did. I thought that they did it throughout the entire time, and watching what he's going to do as he's training and he gets back in shape. But the story of Thor as it's being told is, again, playing like a full-on comedy. And that is, I think, after 15 minutes when you're getting all this stuff, when he's doing the battle, and it's like nothing can be done without the sake of the laugh. For if he's helping to liberate this place, but he breaks down the whole castle, and the guy's like, "Oh, let's not talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. Can we not talk about that? Why are we still talking about that?" And it's like everything is done for the laugh, and the story itself started to sacrifice for me, because I think that all of those moments that were happening inside of the story, I could have connected to. It wasn't the story that bothered me. I think some people thought it was like sloppy as far as the story went. I thought the story played really well, and I thought the idea of it, and Tessa Thompson, another one who is Valkyrie is now king of New Asgard, and she's not beaten down, but she's just bored with the politics of it all and what has become. So she's thrusted back into it, which I enjoyed, but she doesn't really have much to do. And that's the other thing. There's just not a lot for her to do. There's not a lot. I mean, even when I'm terrible at names, and I'm not going to pretend. Taika Waititi's Rock Gorg or whatever. When he gets smashed in his head, is like that the C-3PO moment. That's the one time you see Thor kind of get upset. He gets angry and immediately snaps into it, throws the thing through Zeus, and we find out later that Zeus is alive. He intros Hercules, which I thought that scene was great. That very end, that leads into some compelling, interesting, hopeful stuff. So we'll see. And I'll tell you what else is hopeful. You getting yourself some Athletic Greens. I've told you about it many times over. You're brand new to the channel. Get yourself some Athletic Greens. It's a lot. It's healthy. It gives you some energy. I'm not a vitamins guy. I'm not a pills guy. But I take it, and it gives me that pep in my step, man. I love it. It gives me a lot of energy. It helps sleep. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar. It's lifestyle friendly. It supports better sleep quality and recovery, better mental clarity, a lot of it. So get yourself some of it. athleticgreens.com/bigthing. It's a bunch of free packets if you do it. It's great. I love it. And if you want to help out the show, you want to help out yourself, get yourself some Athletic Greens. But anyway, going back into it, and understanding that I think what I did like, again, the stuff that I did enjoy was Jane, and I thought that Jane worked well, and the fact that she was going to come back and help, and as she's got the hammer, she knows, and in order to help, she's got to sacrifice herself, and I thought the sacrifice that her ultimately going to Valhalla, I'm going to keep saying that with the hopes that I'm getting that right, and the turn of then getting Gore's daughter to come back, but Gore sacrificing himself, and I like that term because Gore could have been very bland. Gore could have been like the Malekith or whatever his name was in the second movie, but it's Bale, and nothing against Christian Eccleston, I believe, or Christopher Eccleston, but Gore. I mean, Christian Bale is Christian Bale, and he just brings so much to it. Plus, the look was great. I love the stuff on the planet where it looked like the Sin City stuff, and that whole segment. I thought that all worked really well, and the fact that they thought they were getting away, but they didn't. Gore was still able to get get Thor's axe, and I think some people. And I'm really curious inside of the comments section how this is going to play, because I think for people who are just going for an experience and having some fun at the theater, you're really going to love it. And if you accepted it as a full comedy right off the bat with a lack of emotion, is the way that I would look at it. I think that I want to hear what people are saying about this one. I want to see what you think about this one, because when I saw it in the theater, there were a lot of people that were continually laughing about Thor going back and forth like an ex-girlfriend with Mjolnir and or again the hammer that Natalie Portman has. I think that's Mjolnir. I don't remember. I can't keep track. And then he's got the axe. And then the whole time, it's a funny bit that the axe is coming back and like, hey, remember me? But that's what I mean. Like, you got to look at it like I was looking at it like Hot Shots or like a spoof, because it was like, okay, because you can almost, if you start to get into that rhythm of this movie now, you're like, if you wait, this is what a good comedy does. It gives you enough time where you're like, okay, here we go. When's the next joke? Oh, there's the next joke. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, there's the next joke. It's a joke fest. And if you are enjoying the joke fest, I think you're going to love this movie. I have gotten texts from people that I respect very much inside of this space, and I got a text this morning. I won't say from who, because I don't know if the person wants me to give away their opinion without them, saying it themselves. But I can just give this is the opening. This is the opening today. That new Thor movie was garbage, and this person is not a negative person. This is not one of those people who that's all. This is actually usually someone who's very positive and always tries to find the good in everything. So bad jokes, really terrible. Nothing but bad jokes, and the effects were terrible. I didn't mind the effects too much, and I said the Zeus stuff was kind of oof. And he said, yeah, why was that in there? But and then there's other people. I use that one person as a example, but then there's other people who, like Winston loves it, and we're going to have our full spoiler discussion on Monday, and Winston loves it, and there's a lot of people who putting it in their some of their favorite stuff that they've seen of Marvel so far. So this is a very split. Greg Alba from The Real Rejects, he and I had a difference of opinion afterwards. So people are split on this movie, and good. That's the other thing. I stick with that, whether it's Marvel, DC, Star Wars, whatever. Nobody's wrong if you like something. If you think something's funny and you think that the tone worked, if you think that the Joke City USA, if you wanted that and you love that, I disagree if someone comes out to me and says, well, that's exactly how Ragnarok was. In my opinion, it wasn't. Maybe in your opinion it was, but in my opinion it was not. There was more of the stuff with Thor Ragnarok was more about loss for me. Even the stuff that happens at the end of this movie, when all the kids are coming in and the music starts playing, the kids fighting didn't do it for me. And I think that this is starting to set up more of the things that they're doing down the line with more kids, and I think even by the end of this with Gore's daughter, and I liked that scene with Gore. I think it was a post credit with Gore and Gore's kid and Thor, and I liked the idea that the movie. I thought that was clever. Thor, Love and Thunder, and then it turns out that's who they are. It's the two of them. They're Love and Thunder, and I like that. And I like that Thor's got kind of that dad thing now, and we didn't kill Thor off. And I think that Thor is gonna find a new version of himself that is that is now looking after this kid, and I like that. And I thought that was good. But like I said, though, as they're building up to all these kids, it looks like they're doing that. I don't know enough about the Young Avengers and all that, but whether it's this kid, Ms. Marvel, whatever it is, it seems like that's what Marvel is doing, and that's fine. I just, the very end, that last fight, and they're all running around fighting and learning how to. They just, I guess, know how to do all this stuff right away. And I know where they're coming from. I guess that they've got enough juice and to be able to do that. But it was more. This is just a blockbuster movie, popcorn movie. And someone had said wrongly on Twitter that I enjoy Doctor Strange 2 more than this one, because if I take the two of these movies and I say, after seeing both of them, knowing what they both are, which one would I want to do a rewatch of? I'd rather do a rewatch of this movie. It is impossible to say this is not an entertaining film. It is. You might not like what the way Thor is portrayed. You might not like the overall amount of jokes, but after seeing the movie of what it is and knowing, say, do I think that the jokes are funny? Do I think that Taika's funny? I do. I just think that certain circumstances took away. I think that the comedy is very similar to Guardians 2 for me. I think that although I just dislike, I think that I dislike Guardians 2 more than this. I think that this one to me is a little more entertaining, and I don't know if it's just because I like Thor more. I don't know, which is weird because I like Thor a little bit more. I think Thor was his best in Infinity War, where he had a mixture of kind of both, and even in Endgame, they understood why he got to being out of shape and doing the thing, like what took him there. Because in the beginning of it, he's all depressed because he finally takes out Thanos, but in the end, it meant nothing. He did it too late, and it led him down this path. I think that's missing from this movie. I'm trying to think the other major things that I should cover inside of this review. I didn't mind the CGI. I thought the CGI. Some people, I guess, the volume stuff is starting to get to people, but I could see I didn't. It didn't stand out to me. I thought the music, I thought the soundtrack worked well. I thought the chemistry between all the main characters worked well. I thought the villain was really good. And I thought the story was fine. My biggest gripe is just that I couldn't connect to any of the emotional moments because they were so overpowered by the humor. And for people who are saying, "Well, you don't like comedy," I think The Boys is hilarious. I thought Peacemaker was hilarious, and yet still emotionally connected to all of it. I thought Ragnarok was awesome. Ragnarok's one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's one of my favorite ones. So, difference of opinion. It is what it is. That's the movie. That's the review. That's the spoiler. I hope you enjoyed it. I can tell you that if you loved this movie, you probably hated this spoiler review, and I apologize for that. But it's what it is, kids. Thor Love and Thunder. Make sure you subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts, though, and I'd like to get a discussion about it. And if you want to see, because I'll call it what it is. This one is definitely a little bit more of maybe of a negative review overall. Sorry. But Monday won't be. Monday will be a mix. I'll still be making my points about how I felt. I think Coy's kind of is a little bit more leaning on the positive side, and Winston loves this movie. So you're going to get all three perspectives on Monday. So you can come and listen. You can yell at me in the comments over there on Monday, or you can agree with me in the comments over there. You can whatever you want to do. Come on over and join us on Monday. And we have a full week. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate you. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.